Welcome to Roll for Sirocco. This is Frank, and today I'll be rolling up stats for a character I created many years ago. It's time to roll for Sirocco. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I created a superhero character called Mr. Canada. Back then, I didn't know that name was in use, so later on, I renamed him to Crimson Samaritan. Not only did I create Mr. Canada, who would become Crimson Samaritan, I also gave him a female counterpart. Back then, she was Mrs. Canada. I changed her name to Crimson Warrior. Now, recently, I did a video where I redrew some of her designs, and you can see that video on Salazar Art Nation. That's my art channel. There's a link in the description below. I decided to use one of those redesigns for a character sheet for Crimson Warrior. So I'll be rolling up stats to create her character sheet and also be doing a new drawing for Crimson Warrior. Uh, let's get to it. This is Crimson Warrior. This is a superhero character I created back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was her original design. I'm going to turn her into a character that you can play in a tabletop game. So I made her a character sheet, and I need to roll the stats. I'm going to be using this dice tower that I just got from Temu, and I'm just going to be rolling 3d6s. And we got a strength at a 12. I'm using the Old Swords Reign rules. Right now it doesn't make that much of a difference because I'm only rolling 3d6s and coming up with the ability scores, as you can see them popping up on the screen. The rule system from Old Swords Reigns will come into play in just a little bit. Check out the dice tower. Isn't that pretty cool? I will be doing a video where I show that a little bit better. And this is the last ability score. That is a Charisma 11. And I'm just going to add them all here on my character sheet. A quick recap: Strength 12, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 10, Dexterity 11, Constitution 8, Charisma 11. Her name is Crimson Warrior, and she is a Canadian superhero. She's a female. She's also a human, and that's where the rules for Old Swords Reign are going to kick in, specifically with the human race. And for a class, I'm giving her the Defender class, which is a class that I'm creating for Captain Goggles. I'm still working on it, but right now I am basing it on Fighter, so I'll be using Fighter rules. And speaking of rules, with the human race rules, I can increase 2 ability scores by 1, and I can choose from any of the ability scores. So I'm going to be increasing my Constitution, turning from an 8 to a 9, and I still get the -1 modifier or penalty modifier. I'm also going to increase my Dexterity, turning from 11 to a 12, and I get a +1 modifier. So that's still pretty cool. And also, according to the Fighter rules, if you're a fighter, your strength increases by 1. And I didn't make that change here, but I'll be doing it offline. So my strength will be a 13. The fighter slash defender, in this case, does get starter equipment. So I will be adding that off screen. And there's also feats, and on the character sheet I call it special abilities, but it's going to be feats. And there's also a background, so I'll be choosing all that off screen, so you're not going to see it in this video. The hit dice is a 1d8, and for her AC, that's armor class, I'm giving her a 12 because I'm using light armor. At first level, the hit points is 8 plus con, so it's a 17. On page 25 of the Old Swords Reign player guide is the background table, and at page 33 is the fighter feats. So I'm going to be looking at those and deciding what background I want for Crimson Warrior. There is Noble Blood. There's also Soldier, hunter and worker, and I'm thinking if I choose between one of those four, either one I can make them work. And for fighter feats, I'm leaning towards blind fighting or battle cry. I think those will be good to start with. Keep in mind, since I'm still working on the Defender class, these are subject to change. That was Crimson Warrior's character sheet, and I have it right here. I printed it out. So that is ready to use. Now, this was Crimson Warrior. I do have Crimson Samaritan. I haven't done his character sheet, so that might be something I do later on in a different video. I did use the character creation rules and some of the features from Old Source Range. I could have used Basic Fantasy. That's the other system that I like to use. But this time I opted for Old Source Range. So maybe for a different character, I'll use Basic Fantasy. It won't be for Crimson Samaritan because I want to keep them the same. Now, if you like this video, give this video a like. If you like what you see, you're not subscribed, go watch some of my other videos, see if you like the type of videos that I make, and feel free to subscribe after that. And this is optional, you don't have to, but if you like what I do and you want to support in a small way, there's a few ways you can do that. There is a link to my tip jar in the description below, so if you want to buy me a coffee or any token of appreciation, that is welcome. But you don't have to. You can also share this video and let others know. Now, this has been Frank Salazar with Roll for Truckle, and we'll see you next time. Roll for Truckle! Subscribe!